I'm going to go into some detail analyzing a bunch of different LinkedIn single image ads. Single image ads are basically the most common, the default type of ad that people are going to run on LinkedIn. So this is where we're going to get a lot of insights from a lot of different companies. And I'm going to highlight some ads that I ran and show you some of the statistics on how well those performed. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start at the bottom of the funnel. So I'm going to show you ads that are designed to generate responses, signups, demo requests, that sort of thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move up in the funnel and look at some of those mid-funnel educational content, some of the upper funnel brand marketing, that sort of thing. So the general philosophy that I'm following here is that you should start at the bottom of the funnel, because that's the bare minimum. If you have limited budget and limited time, it's the only type of thing that will likely generate revenue for you in the short term. And then if you do have budget and you do have time and resources and your company is large enough, then you start moving up funnel to the middle of the funnel and then eventually to the top of the funnel. So let's jump into some examples of bottom of funnel single image ads. So one of the things that is effective when you're trying to generate responses is really focusing on the offer, and your offer, which often is just a price quote or a demo or a sales conversation, something like that, a consultation. Often they're very generic and they don't really sound very different from other companies that are out there. But here we have an example where a company is actually making it seem like a very special offer. It's our free Amazon brand analysis. It's not just get a consultation. It's not just contact us. It's something tailored to the specific audience. And then they highlight how what the problem is and how they're teeing up this analysis as the solution to that problem, which I think is great. Oh, the other thing I want to point out here is that they're having the sign up CTA here rather than just sort of sending people to their website, which is excellent best practice when you're doing this type of promotion. Okay, we have another one that's a kind of a special, somewhat unique offer. Request your Microsoft cybersecurity assessment now. So it's not just, again, a generic consultation or contact us. It's tailored to the specific scenario that you're addressing. It's from Rackspace. So Rackspace has the advantage of having a nice, strong brand supporting it, which is probably going to improve their conversion rates on ads like these. Okay, another thing you can consider is having some sort of low commitment offer. So often offers are require too much of people. So, hey, do you want to hop on the phone for 30 minutes? Well, let's cut that down. Why not have a 10-minute conversation? Or why not just have a live chat conversation? Or why not just do some sort of back and forth conversation on LinkedIn, something like that. Here, what Adobe's doing is they're saying, hey, let's just take our 3-minute interactive tour. So you don't have to sit through a one-on-one high pressure scenario with a salesperson. Instead, you just do this interactive demo, self-guided. So what they're probably going to do, I'm guessing, is segue people that sign up for this into some sort of SDR, BDR outreach, and then try to get those people into a one-on-one conversation. But this would be a great way of kind of getting those people, segueing them easily into that sales funnel. Okay, here is an ad that I ran, and it was pretty effective at getting people to sign up for free trials. So what I did was I used the voice of the customer. So we have this case study, and I grabbed some quotes from there, basically talking about the problem. So spending way too much time getting my records done, saying why she needed to solve that problem, why it was particularly urgent, and then talking about the resolution, which is that she's able to get through, instead of 4 charts, she's able to get through 12 because I'm dictating them. So basically what I'm doing is I'm teeing up this offer of the free dictation trial as the solution to the problem, and fully loading this image with lots of text. I do have an image that's going to grab attention for veterinarians, so image of a dog. But I think one of the most important things here is I'm trying to sell the offer. Try dictation. Dictation is the solution. Sign up. Try dictation. It's not necessarily selling the product as getting people to act on the offer itself. And that's what I want them to do. Just try the dictation. The other key thing here is having the pop-up form rather than sending people to your website. So this is an example of an ad that I've talked about before, but I'm just putting it in the context of these other ads that we're going to be analyzing from different companies. Okay, so the results from this was looking at this data, we had about $28 Canadian for a lead. Generated 6 leads. We got 1,700 impressions, 31 clicks, at an average CTR of 1.77%, which is excellent. So in a case like this, your benchmark is around 0.4%. We're doing significantly better than that, which is an argument to stop bidding on CPZ, cost per click, and start bidding on CPM model because the CTR is so high. And if that were done, you could probably get the cost per lead even lower than that because your bidding is more efficient. Okay, so here's an example of an ad. I'm not trying to be mean. I think this company probably does a good job with their marketing. Their branding seems great. I'm sure they're very successful, but I just want to critique this ad specifically. So can you identify what's wrong with this? Okay, so we have smart sheets, dashboards, gain real-time visibility, drive alignment, take immediate action, watch the free demo. Okay, so to give you some context here, I don't remember seeing any other ad for this company. So as far as I know, there's no upper funnel messaging. All they're pushing from my personal experience is getting people into the demo. Not very efficient. You should be running upper funnel messaging to get people warmed up to the point where they want to request a demo. Okay, the other thing is they're not being specific enough. So gain real-time visibility into what? Drive alignment with whom? Like for what purpose? Take immediate action. Like what immediate actions are you talking about? Who is this for? Is this for me as a marketing executive? Is this for just anybody that needs dashboards? What are the specific use cases? So gain real-time visibility, but in what context would I need to do that? What is the job to be done there? So my diagnosis is that they're trying to consolidate everything into a single ad. And I believe the solution would be to have a series of separate ads that deal with specific use cases or specific case study examples where alignment was driven, where real-time visibility was gained, and where immediate action was executed, instead of trying to cram everything into a limited space. The other issue I have here is the image is fully loaded with too much information, in my personal opinion, but there's not enough text. Like there's only 2.5 lines here. That could be filled with excruciatingly good detail about each of these to give me more knowledge about what you're talking about. So I don't really have much context to understand what this is. I think what they're trying to do is take the product positioning, which is very broad and talks about all these cases, and make the ad positioning the same. But the ad positioning can be very, very narrow. If it is narrow, it's more effective because it's more specific. Okay, here's an example of another ad to drive a free trial. What I really like about it is the clear positioning. So the fastest SQL analysis. Now, this is not a technical thing that I am participating in or that I would sign up for, but it looks like clear positioning to me. Brand design is good. Again, not enough text. I also question the use of this clogging up the image with the CTA here. I feel like maybe more details could be given since there is a lot of description of the CTA at the bottom and in the text above. So really just more content, more meaty content instead of just sort of this start your free trial text. Okay, here are some ads that I think are good and address some objections, give some good information, but I think there's a disconnect here, and this is my hypothesis. Okay, so we have this company that I think is giving out loans or some sort of debt financing, and they're trying to get you to apply. And the challenge I have with this, I think what they're trying to do is prove to you that you don't need venture capital, seed capital, or something to dilute your equity. Instead, you can just increase your liabilities. But I'm not necessarily convinced that an ad designed to get people to apply needs to be the same one where you're convincing people not to dilute the ownership in your company. I think those things can be done separately. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see with LinkedIn ads that are good but not great is they're actually diluting their message because they're trying to do too much in one ad. And a lot of that stems from this idea of direct response obsession. Let's get every ad so that people respond to it. If they don't respond to it, it was a failed ad. That's not the right way to think of it. You need to have ads that teach people the solution to a problem, and then you need to have ads that are getting people to sign up. And here I feel like they're trying to do this. There's too much of a gap there between I want to raise funds without diluting the equity in my company. Okay, convince me of that. Focus the ad on that. Give me stats on that. Give me case studies of that. Prove to me that that's true, and then follow up later with an ad to trying to get me to apply and proving why you're the best option for taking on debt. But here I feel like they're trying to do both. Now, I don't have the data on how successful that is, but I would say that's a very common mistake that companies make. The disconnect between are you trying to make people aware of the problem or the category versus are you trying to get people to sign up? Let's treat those things differently. Okay, here's another case where I think that this disconnect may exist. So here what we have is images that I think are well done. I think these ads are good. But I feel like they're trying to quickly transition you from, oh, I agree with what you're saying to I'm ready to sign up. I would just run ads just designed to get people to agree with you. You don't need to get them to sign up in every single ad. You can have ads dedicated to that, but it doesn't need to be the same one. So it's time to think differently about events, is educating you on the problem, right? You're not problem aware that there is this issue about how events are run. So let's just have the ad about that. And then that isn't necessarily the best segue into watch this demo. Similarly here, and again, I don't have the data on how successful these are, so these are somewhat superficial comments, but SaaS demos suck. Okay, well, prove that to me. Show me the data, show me the case studies that show that most SaaS demos are terrible. And then later, try to get me into a demo with your product. But here they're just saying this is the problem, request a demo. I feel like you're selling this as though it were some sort of impulse consumer product, like a chocolate bar, but that's not. This is a business to business product with sophisticated buyers. Educate them first, get them to convert later. Okay, what I like about this ad is it talks about a specific job to be done. So fill jobs in hours, not weeks. So it's not vague, get more jobs filled. It's fill jobs in hours, not weeks, rather than, or quickly would be kind of vague. So fairly specific, and then you just have the sign up CTA. Okay, here's another case where there's an ad that's trying to do too much. Automate your marketing. Well, there's a million different things you're doing in marketing. Now, I have nothing against ActiveCampaign. Great product, good branding, but this ad, it's just kind of this vague overview showing their interface. And then again, vague with the text, not enough information, no specific use cases. Break it down. What is automation? What are the drivers of automation? Okay, have an ad that talks about one case of automation. Have another ad running another case of automation. Collate it together. Maybe I'll request a demo. But this is just kind of vague, high-level stuff. Okay, now here's another case where I think effectiveness is being driven by specificity. So Tony Robbins is massive business growth in just 5 days. So he's having this sort of specific promise. And the other specific promise is guaranteeing 1 million in value to your business in the first day. Apply now. So a specific promise that is going to be delivered by this offer, which is why you should apply now for this offer. So he's selling the offer with specific promises, which is excellent. Okay, another good case of offer-centric messaging is coming from credit cards. So earn up to $3,000 cash bonus, unlimited 2% cashback, no preset spending limit. So addressing the perks as well as the objections. So what the spending limits would be. Okay, they're addressing that. They have the apply now button. They have the see more so that there's more text, which is great. Companies often are pretty light on the text. And I just think it's great because they're even calling it a limited time offer. So they understand direct response marketing. Okay, another ad that I ran here. We can see that one of the variants, we had 6 leads at a cost per lead of around $10, CTA about double benchmark. So great. This other one did fairly well as well, $14 per lead at 8 leads, CTR 0.75%. So with these high CTRs, you should probably switch to cost per impression bidding to drive your cost per lead even lower. Now, there's a lot I can talk about the tactics of getting these ads right. But one of the key things is really just getting your targeting right. So one of the most important things I did here was I bought a list of SaaS companies, imported that list into LinkedIn as custom targeting, and then I'm hitting the right people. So of course my CTR is going to be high. My message is going to resonate more. Just a lot of things are going to be done right by getting the strategy right. And one of the most critical things in marketing strategy is just going after the right people and getting into the right target market. Some other things here is focusing on the offer itself. So mine is the free quote. We have another one here that's a free answer to your question. Experiment with the offer, which is something business-to-business marketers don't do enough of on LinkedIn, is yes, they understand that they need to experiment with copywriting and imagery and stuff, but often there's very marginal returns from tweaking design and copywriting. A lot of the big impact is really going to be with the targeting, which is going to be like campaign level testing and getting the offer tested, both of which are being exemplified here. Now, of course, it's not that the copywriting's bad. I mean, I wrote this copy, certain copy changes I had to make. So for example, LinkedIn didn't like that I had SaaS with 2 lowercase a's, so I had to do all caps. I'm trying to call out certain keywords, etc. I'm establishing my credibility. But the main thing is the targeting and the offer. Okay, I've talked a lot about how I don't support gated offers in a lot of cases. So like ebooks, put in your email to download this ebook. I think it's bad because I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. Fewer people are going to read your ebook because you're gating it. But I think something like a buyer's guide, and this isn't specifically from a LinkedIn ad, but it could easily be something you promote through a LinkedIn ad. Here's a case where you could legitimately have it gated. And the reason is if the gating is a segue to the sales team. So the argument is that if somebody downloads a buyer's guide, they're bottom of funnel, they're kind of in the they've shown some buying intent. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the gate as a segue to the sales team or the BDR team, etc. Something worth considering. Okay, here is a company that I use for market research, Sentiment. I'm able to survey like marketing directors, IT directors, pretty much anybody that you want to hit with business-to-business market research. And they're retargeting me through Facebook, for example, possibly because I visited their website or possibly because I looked at their LinkedIn ads. I think Facebook is something that you want to incorporate into your LinkedIn campaigns because they can synergize well together in that you're able to get the targeting right with LinkedIn and you're able to get the recurring frequency through Facebook and the cheap ad placements through Facebook. So one thing that I think that Sentiment could have done better here, and they could do it with LinkedIn ads and forms as well, is instead of sending people to their website, just having the form right there, and then I can request a quote, which is really what they're promoting is the price quote, which is fine. That's a bottom of funnel offer. If somebody's ready to do research, that's what they're going to want as a price to proceed with that research. Okay, now, if you want to test your single image ads, you are going to want to go into your campaign, go to this setting, this little gearbox thing here, and instead of optimize per performance, what you're going to select is rotate ads evenly. So what that's going to do is give you more of a true A/B test where you're allocating the ads evenly to people, and then you're able to see which ones perform better. But don't overdo it. A mistake I've made is creating too many ad variants, get too excited about different things we can experiment with, and then you just don't have enough data to make any conclusive considerations. The other thing is that testing is often a cop-out by marketers. They want to test a bunch of things because instead of making strategic trade-off decisions, they're able to say, oh, we'll just test it. That's not what a good leader in marketing does. A good leader in marketing is going to make strategic decisions. They're going to say, this is the route we're going to take, regardless of whether it is empirically proven through tests. So experimentation is no substitute for strategy, but given that, you can run some interesting ads by rotating your ads evenly. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to move up the funnel. So a lot of the ads that we looked at earlier were basically free offer unaware, product unaware people. So this is where people are not necessarily aware that you have a demo or that you have this free special audit, or they haven't been sold on the idea that they should take you up on that offer. So that's why we had a lot of ads promoting the lead gen forms, the lead capture forms, etc. But in a more sophisticated, elaborate LinkedIn advertising campaign, you're also going to have single image ads or other ad types that educate people about your product, that tell people that the category of products that you participate in is the solution to their problem. There are also going to be people that aren't even convinced that the problem that you solve is worth solving, so you got to run ads for that. And then there are people that are just not familiar with your brand. So you can run ads with the pure purpose of getting people familiar with your brand. Now, at the very bottom of the funnel, we have people that are not necessarily aware of your contract terms, your payment terms, the details of wanting to buy from you. Typically, you don't run a lot of ads in this space because it's handled so much by the sales team. But there's no reason that you couldn't. You could run retargeting ads, for example, telling people why they should buy from you, or why they should buy from you now and not delay, that sort of thing. Given that you have limited control over or when business-to-business buyers decide to purchase. Okay, so moving up the funnel. So at the very top of the funnel, you basically have brand awareness marketing, and this is normally done through visuals like videos and things like that. It could be done with single images. And you need to draw this distinction between demand generation and brand marketing, and that the positioning of the brand doesn't need to be the same as the product. It doesn't need to be rational when you're promoting the brand, and that's kind of what Intuit is doing here. They're trying to get you more emotional. They're trying to be more witty. They're trying to be more enthusiastic. So no more mid-century, not so modern business finances. And you notice the call to action is not sign up or buy now. It's just learn more. Go check it out, so that you're continuously exposed to the Intuit QuickBooks brand. Okay, a client of mine that has done messaging quite effectively, I would say at the middle of the funnel, is Rocketium. And one of the things that they do is they break up their value proposition and their selling points into separate ads rather than trying to cram it all into one. So here's one: want to launch personalized campaigns in 2 days instead of 2 weeks. Very specific promise, talking about the time, the benefit of time and speed, and promoting this case study. Want to run regional campaigns in multiple languages 5 times faster. Again, delivering on this promise of speed, but within a specific context, which is the localization for the languages, and another case study reiterating that point. So over time, as people are exposed to this ad and other ads, they're being persuaded psychologically to associate Rocketium with speed of campaign launches. And we have another ad that's talking about essentially a different benefit altogether, which is being able to experiment without extending your bandwidth. Less about speed, more about bandwidth limitations, which is great. You're able to collate all of these together into the Rocketium value proposition. Okay, here are some ads that are maybe more traditional of what you would think of with business to business, which is focused on education. So 9 contact center metrics essential for success. Great. It's specific to the target customer, contact centers. And it's going to promote what those metrics are. And what it'll probably do is kind of segue into this product category. And I don't have enough information to speak on what that is, but this is a good little content offer. I don't necessarily agree with the idea of gating it, but perhaps with a very small target audience, gating it would be a segue to BDR team. Here we have another one, how to sell to state and local government, and it's a free guide. Again, I'm not sure about gating it, but I think it's great. I think you're proving that you understand, your brand understands how to sell to state and local governments, and you're able to get into people's mind share by promoting this type of education. Now, where a lot of people run into problems with LinkedIn ads is they'll run something like an ebook or a white paper like these, get the lead, and then they think, oh, great, I have a lead. Like, this is something you can send to the sales team, but that's not usually the case. So don't overvalue these leads, because if all you're trying to do is capture contact information, there's vastly more efficient ways to do that. And the best way I know of is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and then scraping the emails from there using scrap.io. Okay, so the ad on the left is one I already showed you. The right one is a new one. But basically what these ads are doing is promoting a message to people that are not aware of the problem, or perhaps just aren't educated enough on the problem. So for problem unaware people, SaaS demos suck. Okay, you're right. Yeah, convince me of that. And I think you can do a good job of that with LinkedIn. Is your ransomware protection what it should be? So maybe people have this sense of comfort that their ransomware protection is good, but hey, maybe it's not actually as good as you thought. Maybe there's big risks involved. And what Cyber Reason is doing is educating you on that, on why that may be a serious problem that you need to consider. Here are 2 ads that I don't think are bad. I think I love how the images have a lot of text, provide a lot of information. So 5 ways to create unforgettable customer experience is great. We're going to do this sort of mid-funnel, upper funnel thing that positions Adobe as a leader in excellent customer experiences. We have this ad from Columbia Business School promoting their strategic manager program. But what I think is lacking in these is just, why is there not enough text? Why is this one sentence? Both of these ads have one sentence. You're paying for the space. It blows my mind. Like, think about it. Let's say you bought space to run a full page ad in a newspaper, and you decided you're just going to use one sentence. Why would you do that? It's kind of silly. Fill the text, give the content. I think what's happening is the marketers are still in this mindset of running banner ads like we did in 2000, where all you had was the image, and then people clicked the image and went to your website. But that's not in 2022, that's not how you think about LinkedIn ads and social media ads in general. You want people to consume the content, become educated right there on the social media platform. You should not require that people go elsewhere to get that information. So sell whatever you're selling in the ad, and then if there's not enough there, they can go to your website or go somewhere else to get more information. Okay, ad I showed you before. I think this is a good opportunity to teach people who are not problem aware. Maybe not the best way to promote the demo, but if you had more text, you could elaborate on the problem and why it needs to be solved. Okay, 2 good examples of brand marketing. Now, I just want you to look at the style of the Squarespace ad. It's creative. It's almost like a consumer ad that you would see on TV. Okay, it's not a single image ad, so I'm cheating a little bit with these brand marketing ones, but it could easily be a single image ad with this kind of creative imagery. And it's kind of creating the personality of Squarespace rather than just the rationality of why you need to sign up with them now. Similarly here with Aircall, we're seeing heavy emphasis on the brand and the brand colors. And basically this entire ad is just about promoting their investment from HubSpot to establish the leadership position, the credibility of the Aircall brand, and not trying to get you to sign up for anything. It's just delivering this message that we're aligned with HubSpot. Great case of brand marketing. Okay, there are more ads that promote branding and other ads that promote thought leadership. So here we have Morgan Stanley talking about the power of employee networks. So positioning themselves as a thought leader at the forefront of this topic. And then we have Loom here, which is promoting their brand. Loom is the video messaging platform for work. So just kind of growing awareness of what Loom is rather than trying to get you to act. Now, yeah, you can go to the website and do whatever, but that's not the main objective here. And I think this is a great example because for me, looking at different video recording software, I consider there's a million video recording softwares out there, but I considered Loom because I just recognize the brand. And pure brand recognition, just the fact that people know your logo or your name, regardless of whether they understand what your product does, has tremendous power, especially as you try to go big with your marketing and you're trying to dominate markets. Okay, here's an example from Facebook, which, again, I'm cheating a little bit, but I think Facebook and LinkedIn synergize well together when you get the targeting right with LinkedIn. And this is a good example where they're trying to make you aware of the problem and then segueing into the category. So workshops are better than webinars. So they're really hammering this idea that webinars suck and that you need to start doing this thing called workshops. And they're kind of the guys who do that. So it's a pretty quick segue into what they're selling you, which is probably going to be like a free offer at first, and then that'll segue into a more extended paid offer. Okay, we have another ad from Adobe, specifically Adobe Marketo. And what they're trying to do is cater to people that are category unaware. So no lead left behind, how to get started with lifecycle management. So within lifecycle management, they're going to provide you all this information. And then what I suspect is that when you access this cheat sheet, they're going to start selling you on the idea that you need certain types of automation software to achieve what you want to achieve. And conveniently, that's what Marketo does. Another case of catering to people that are category unaware here is Braze. So here we have a guide, which is strategies to drive higher retention rates. And then what I suspect is within those strategies will be arguments for why the category that Braze is in is the solution to get higher retention rates. Another ad for people that are category unaware is for a medical contractor's guide to reducing overhead costs. So here, very tailored to the audience. I love that. I love the specific context. Download the ebook, not necessarily something that needs to be gated. It could just be a link to a PDF on your website. It could just be a link to a page on your website, and then you could retarget them. I like that they're not just using the minimal cost or allocation for text space here. They're going to fill it up with more information and basically educating people on how this problem of high overhead costs can be solved. The solution is going to be something related to the category that Agora Systems in and positioning themselves as a leader in that space. Another example of catering to people that are category unaware. Here we have what looks like a webinar, when to buy, build, or outsource your data stacks. So this is something that their target audience is going to be considering. Well, do I buy it? Do I build it? Or do I outsource it? And then what they're probably going to do in the webinar is do some sort of soft pitch for buying from somebody like them. Okay, we have some ads here catering to people that are problem unaware. So integrate. Why omnichannel should be a B2B marketer's top priority. Okay, so there are people that aren't necessarily convinced that the problem you solve is not that it's not a problem, but that it's not a problem worthy enough of getting a sense of urgency. And that's what they're doing here. They're saying omnichannel should be your top priority, and then integrate is going to, of course, segue into that. But the point of this webinar is not selling integrate. It's selling the idea that this is a problem you need to focus on, and then there'll be a segue into why software is going to be the solution to that problem. But baby steps. You focus first on convincing people of the problem. And that's a huge problem with business to business. People jump into, hey, you want to have a 15-minute chat? And it's like, I'm not ready for a demo. I'm not ready. I don't know about your product. I have not even been convinced that the problem is worth paying attention to yet. So sophisticated marketers like Integrate seem to understand that. Okay, another case of catering to people that are problem unaware. Why is Microsoft settling for 15% partner participation? And then there's an ebook on debunking channel marketing myths. So it seems like a lot of companies here are think it's okay that there's very low partner participation rates. So what they're doing is they're educating about the problem and saying that, hey, this is actually a big problem. You need to fix this. Another case of catering to people that are problem unaware is this ad from Gladly, which is very different from a lot of the other ads that I've looked at here. Very, very interesting. You'll also notice they use a lot of hashtags. Now, I believe hashtag clicks in this case are not chargeable clicks, so you can include them to try to get some more reach going here. If you're only using Instagram for marketing, you're leaving revenue on the table. And then we have this guide here. Using Instagram to drive revenue with radically personal service. If you're using Instagram for marketing, you're leaving revenue on the table. Okay, so they're going to provide you some useful educational information, make you aware of the problem, and then there'll probably be a segue into whatever category that Gladly participates in. Okay, so we have case studies. Case studies we generally think of as middle of funnel content. Now, testimonials themselves could be considered bottom of funnel stuff to get people into free trials or demos and things like that. But a full case study would be middle of the funnel, usually catering to people that are not aware or not informed enough about your product. So here we have a good case where Schneider Electric is talking about a case study with Nescafe and how does EcoStruxure Asset Advisor, okay, so this is the specific thing that they're selling, help Nestle Cafe brew the perfect cup reliably. Let us show you. Okay, and then you have a CTA here that's just learn more. It's not sign up. It's just educating you about the product. You can get people to sign up later. Another middle of funnel offer here from Amazon Web Services, which is an event you can register for, drive innovation with machine learning. And I'm sure they probably have some excellent targeting for people that would be involved in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and they've done a great job of consistently applying the Amazon Web Services brand with these gradients and the colors and things like that. I enjoy seeing the Amazon ads because I think they're so cleanly designed from a branding perspective. Okay, and the last example we have here is again from Integrate, which seems to be doing a very good job at the top and middle of the funnel. And this is an example of thought leadership. So it's a report, the state of marketing maturity, the future of marketing. Read now. So thought leadership is kind of the top of the marketing funnel. It's where you're looking towards the future, you're thinking of the long term, and you also want to link your brand with being at the forefront of whatever's happening in an industry. And it helps position you as the leader. And that's what they're doing here. Getting you to read this report. Now, this isn't necessarily something that's going to get people to sign up right away. It's not going to get them to talk to sales. But in the long term, this collated with other ads that are more middle of funnel and bottom of the funnel is going to be great. And something like this can go viral. I mean, it already has, 202 reactions. If you promoted this aggressively, you could get everybody in your target audience to look at this report, and then they might share it with other people. And you're going to help build brand awareness, build your positioning as a thought leader.